Hello and welcome back to my vlog channel. It is that time of the year, time to reflect on 2022, a year that I overall very much enjoyed and was way more life-changing than I could have ever anticipated, especially in the realm of spirituality and revelations. I should probably learn how to say that word because that is the word that I dedicated to being the word of 2022 for me. In the past, I would do blah, blah, blah things I learned in the year, and that just sounds so like school or super duper serious, doesn't it? So I'm not really going to have any sort of structure. I'm just kind of going to reflect and read a little bit of my journal entries from when I was reflecting on 2022. Before you listen to this, you might want to listen to my previous video that should be a recent upload of my third mushroom trip, because it really taught me that I've been putting way too much pressure and perfectionism on myself, and it's driving me crazy. So it really made me change the way I'm going into a new year. I'm not setting goals, but we'll get more into that later. But I thought this reflection would make more sense if you listen to that first, if you want. I finally realized and accepted the fact that when I set goals and things how traditionally might work for most people, it just doesn't work for me. Same with kind of how working a regular 9-to-5 job or working for someone else doesn't work for me. I just am motivated in a very different way. I'm wired a little bit differently than what would benefit capitalism in this society. So putting goals with deadlines on them, it just makes it feel like a chore. It makes me like resentful and hate it, like a stubborn little kid, honestly. It puts this little should in the back of my mind and drives me nuts. And it doesn't allow me to just joyfully do the thing or create the thing. I'm not motivated by feeling like things are a chore or an obligation. I know myself well. That is not how I get motivated. I get motivated by watching videos of people doing stuff. I get motivated by seeing my own art hanging on the wall, stuff like that. Like at this point, I already know very well what I want to create and what I want to do, so I'm just giving them the completely free and liberated space to blossom and grow as they will. I'm extremely proud to say that in 2022, I learned about what attachment style is for relationships. It completely saved my relationship 1 year ago when we had like a really bad fight. I read the book called Attached. It's about attachment science. I can't recommend it enough. It was like seriously a lifesaver. And I'm really proud to say that I healed into a secure attachment style in 2022. Yay! I also saw my brother for the first time in 7 years, which is just amazing. And I'm just so glad that that first initial time is over with. And of course, 2022 was the year of my mushroom awakening. I took magic mushrooms for the first time in September, and I have done it 3 times this year after that, like including that, I should say. And I can't put it into words. I can't even put it into words. Like, I'm just going to allow you to go to my videos that I've made about each trip, and because I can't put it into words, and yeah. But it fucking healed me. It changed my life entirely. I am not the same person I was when I was reflecting on 2021. Not at all. It's like all of the dedication of meditating for the last 5 years of healing, journaling, hypnosis, affirmations, positive psychology, that kind of shit. It's like it can only take you so far, and then a magic mushroom trip, bink, clicks you the rest of the way, and then you're like, oh, thank you. What a relief. I can't gloat enough. I can never overstate how much it healed my mental health, how much it healed me in general, how much it made me feel okay to feel alive and good to feel alive and to want to be alive. And to be like, oh, traumas, they happened. I didn't deserve it. It's in the past. I can move on now. Like, there's a difference between knowing something and having it understood and clicked. And that's what mushrooms does. One of the journal prompts I answered was, what was the biggest challenge for you in 2022? And I wrote, probably letting things be enough or good enough, also known as perfectionism. And really just having my life, how I feel, my relationship, myself, and what I create feel good enough. And I'm really fucking grateful that this was my biggest challenge of the year, because that means I had a pretty damn good year. But of course, the other and probably bigger challenge was we had to put down one of our cats this year in July, and that was horrendous and traumatic. I guess I'm sort of still processing that a little bit, but again, I'm so grateful that I can say that those were the worst things of the year. So I frequently journal the prompts of this YouTuber called With Jocelyn. I highly recommend her. And one of the prompts was, what are the 7 commitments I'm making to myself that feel uplifting for the upcoming year? So here's mine. 1 is choosing higher consciousness in all moments the best I can and living by the 4 agreements and by my mushroom realizations. 2 is drawing what I want to draw and making the music I want to make, and making drawing and music making inspiring and joyful and free from pressure. The next commitment is hiking and hanging out in nature and just watching sunsets and time in nature being present. The next commitment is self-care, cooking for myself and my mom, whole food, plant-based, and ergonomics when working, good posture, and my health. The next commitment is being really kind to myself while I figure out my career path and staying worthy and grateful, and being confident when I tell others what I do for a living and really just trusting myself. The next commitment is valuing my connections and presence with my loved ones above my creations/work. I try not to say the word work because I subconsciously don't want to associate my creations with the negative connotations that come with the word work, such as like struggle and hardship. So, yeah. But anyway, and truly savoring my connections with my loved ones and being very grateful for them. And the final 7th commitment is living a pressure-free life, no concerns for the opinions or judgments of others, no pressures or deadlines on my creations, no perfectionism over myself, others, or my life, valuing lifestyle over work/creations, and total liberation for myself. No more stories of scarcity or constraint, being content in the now rather than trying so hard. Full self-expression with no guilt. So these are what I commit to now and in 23 and beyond, and so it is. Another prompt was, what emotion did I spend the most time feeling in 2022 and how did that impact me? So I felt to write the emotion of haste. Basically making myself miserable by always pushing myself to try harder and getting triggered or frustrated when I didn't understand things or when I wasn't making progress. One example is I was editing like cinema quality videos for my animal rights channel, Alicia Demi, and I did it to the point of injuring my hand in May, and still in December, I'm still trying to heal and rest from that. So I'm really releasing that suffocating pressure, which ironically kept me from producing as much as I could have. Another huge thing from 2022 is, I don't really remember when, but I started texting my dad because we were emailing a little tiny bit, and I just decided to unblock him for the first time in years and We've sort of exchanged some small talk and just very friendly texts, and it feels really good to me. And it feels good to not put pressure or add meaning or take it personally what level of intimacy he's capable or willing of having with me, because I know it's not personal. Thank you, the book The Four Agreements. Another prompt was, what experiences from this past year felt in alignment with who I am meant to be and what I am meant to do? So the first thing that came to mind was, I'm not really a weed smoker or anything, and I don't smoke in general because I care about my lungs, but we did a little weed vaping and watched the sunset, me and my boyfriend and my mom, and I just felt so much golden loving energy during that, just watching the sunset and being with them and connecting with my boyfriend in more intimate ways. LOL, giggity. And then I thought of the times I swam in the ocean this year, how invigorating it was to swim in the cold waters in Acadia National Park in Maine, and how just amazing it was to swim in the warm waters of Florida, and how in between temperature and refreshing it was to swim in the New Jersey waters with my mom. The next thing that came to mind was the times where I was drawing all day because I love what I'm drawing and I wanted to draw. Very recently with the Lauren Tate drawing, just finally drawing something I wanted to draw instead of something for my business or for someone else or something I thought I should draw. And the times when I was really in the flow when I was writing my songs. And those were times I was doing it because I wanted to, because I got inspired from listening to Nirvana demo tapes or something, and then I went and did it. Not the times that I was forcing myself to so much. And I thought of hiking in Acadia. It felt genuinely so good because I really worked on my fitness before the trip, and so I wasn't really huffing and puffing for air, and it just felt so good. And of course, I thought of going in the mosh pit at a Memphis Mayfire concert. Nothing too intense. Didn't get a black eye or anything, but just going in and pushing each other around and just really getting into the lyrics and just letting myself not care. And so much fun. And of course, I thought of my magic mushroom trips, especially my second one where I did it while camping, which you can find in a vlog on this channel. And I even wrote certain times when I'm following yoga videos. And then I wrote when I go to women's circles, which I found Women's Circle this year at a cafe. It's a almost vegan cafe, but that's another topic for another day. And they host once a month circles where mostly you do meditation, but you also do a little bit of breath work, a little bit of journaling, and a little bit of sharing around in the circle. And it is super, super, super enjoyable, and I really love it. There's just a whole vibe and energy that's created. And then all the times that I was watching the sunset and being present, not doing anything else, and all the times I was laying in the grass. And I even wrote selling the products with my art on them, like my shirts. It just felt really good to do that. I also wrote making nice food or treats for people, journaling in the mornings, watching my own vlogs, because they really get me to love my own life and inspire me to keep going, Singing to music in the car, that is just every year a thing where I'm really doing what I'm meant to be doing. I wrote having good sex twice. LOL. I even wrote leaving vegan info cards everywhere I go. I love that non-confrontational activism and that feeling of leaving little seeds and just wondering who might find them and what kind of ripple effect it might have on their life or in the world. And I just love the mystery of it, because you don't get to see who's going to find the card and how they're going to react and what they're going to do with the information. Looking at flowers in the springtime, seeing the band Seether, listening to affirmations or saying affirmations. And those first moments of my mushroom trips where you have that feeling like you're in heaven and everything about life makes sense and you just understand everything. Another prompt from With Jocelyn is, if 2022 was a class, what would the name of the class be? What lessons would be taught? And what would be my favorite lecture? So I said the class of 2022 is How to Heal Fully. Some lessons were attachment style science, the 4 agreements, direct communication, being present, magic mushroom trips, how to begin starting your own business and everything you have to learn to do that, surrendering to your highest good, stop trying so hard, burnout, how to simplify, how to do animal rights activism without being miserable, how to heal depression, the dangers of workaholism and putting too much pressure and perfectionism on yourself, how to not make things harder than they have to be, how to be content and stop seeking. Everything is okay. You are capable of anything. You don't need to be sad. Life is so fucking good. Love and accept your appearance. And I can go on. And my favorite class was Trippin' While Camping. Sorry if I'm a bit repetitive. Those are pretty much the things I wanted to say from the end of year journaling and reflections I've done. But I've got some more time to fill up to talk, so I'm just gonna kind of chat from the heart and see whatever flows through. I was in a really fucking rough, dark place this time exactly 1 year ago. Me and Keegan had a huge fight, like I mentioned before, and I just can't state enough how different of a person and how much better I am now. I'm just so grateful to have come across all of the information I needed to make this happen. Like, I'm so grateful for the internet, because how would I ever even know to do certain things, and how would I ever even know certain information without the internet? I'm really committing in the next year to just do less and do more nothing. I really burnt out from the last 2 years. In 2021, I went really hard on my animal rights activism and YouTube channel and other stuff as well. I was trying to do a lot. I was even trying to do a podcast. I was very strict and scheduled and everything, but in this year I was going really hard and trying to figure out how to start my business, and I figured out I had planned to just start my business, but I needed to learn so much shit that is hard for me and doesn't come naturally before I even could start. And so the last 2 years have given me really a feeling of spinning my wheels, and it's been really frustrating, and it's led to me just pushing myself even harder and burning out. And I really just don't think life is meant to be that way, or that it has to be that way, and I really know from experience that approaching life that way only makes things worse, not better, and it doesn't make you produce more, it makes you produce less. I'm just really wanting to simplify my life and everything. My desires are quite simple, and I've really surrendered to my highest good, and I'm just way more open to different possibilities. I have a whole new direction and plan for activism that's going to be more peaceful and artistic that I haven't started yet because I had some older video obligations, but I'm really excited to be starting that. It's going to be more based on art and performance art and inspiring people and spreading positivity rather than the traditional activism I was trying to do before. Because I figured out my authentic self as an activist, what that looks like and what that person would be doing, instead of just trying to emulate other people. And I'm not going to work so hard in that area. I'm not going to try so hard with that YouTube channel. I really am feeling the less is more vibe. Again, my desires are simple, and I just really want to simplify, and I just want to record my music album and put it out there whenever is in divine timing, and just enjoy the process and enjoy the outcome. I really just want to go perform at open mics with my music, and maybe like open mics that are spoken word or poetry, because I just have so much to share and so much to say. And I just want to live in a home with Keegan. I don't know if we can do it right away, but ultimately I just want to live somewhere in nature and just want to be self-employed, whatever that looks like. I'm still figuring it out, and I'm not going to beat myself up about it anymore, and I'm not going to feel ashamed about any lack of progress from the outside looking in. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I know if I trust myself, I'll continue to figure it out and I'll get an income. And I'm just going to focus more on doing what feels good and just being liberated and focusing on relief and ease. 2022 feels very, very good to me when I look back on it. But I'm also ready to do some things differently and some different new things. I keep trying to think, okay, what else can I say to reflect on 2022? And all I can think about is the feeling of peace and ease and what I want to do moving forward in the new year. I'm just so proud of the transformation I went through in 2022. And I can look back on the year and years before with a perspective of I could have felt way more ease in that moment. You know what I mean? There's really no need to be so fucking uptight all the time. One thing I kind of am mulling over this holiday season is missing my family, and obviously I don't miss the bullying or the toxic parts of some of these people, but I definitely miss the fun side of these people, the funny side, and just the wacky shit that they do. I kind of miss being able to be a redneck. I miss the country, like in Colorado where I'm from. And I'm sort of pondering reaching out to some of these people and just seeing how it will go, because I've achieved such inner peace now that I know no matter what their response is, it's not going to trigger or derail me like it did in the past. And I also want to think of ways I can incorporate some of that good old redneck fun in my life now, because sometimes I feel like I just really miss having people around me that would just chill in a garage for hours and do goofy ass off the wall things. You can probably tell how that would be such a remedy and such a relief after putting so much pressure on myself the last few years and kind of being serious when it comes to healing, which was necessary, but I'm sort of ready to not be so damn serious and to just laugh. I mean, I've always laughed, but maybe less often when I'm being too serious, you know? That sounds obvious when I say it out loud. I just feel like I've done all the deep work, and of course there's always more deep work to do, but I feel like I'm pretty much mostly on the other side of it, and now I can just be lighthearted again. Well, I don't think I was ever lighthearted before, because I always struggled before and I had difficult life circumstances before, but I just want to become lighthearted for the first time, I guess, like truly from within and not just on the surface. I really don't feel any grudges, and I feel like when you say holding a grudge, it's sort of invalidating and dismissing the very valid feelings that come up in a human being when they're betrayed by a family member and mistreated. So I don't even want to say it that way. So I'll just say I've come to a new place of inner peace, compassion, and acceptance, and just no longer needing to rehash things out, not needing to hear any apology, not needing to revisit it anymore, because I've like really sealed and healed the deal. I fully visited and I fully felt, and of course there's always going to be more things to feel and things to revisit that you might have suppressed in your memory, but again, I feel like I'm a living example right now of what it's like to be on the other side of doing the hard shadow work and facing the traumas, and I can tell you it's worth it. So I'll leave you with that. I've sort of reached the allotted time that I created with the videos. Thank you so much, 2022. Just so much gratitude. I love everything that truly matters in life. Whoever is listening to this, thank you for listening to the whole thing. Consider checking out my main channel, which is linked in the description. And if you're not vegan, watch the free documentary Dominion on YouTube and listen to the TEDx talk Every Argument Against Veganism on YouTube. And I wish for you so many blessings and healings and awakenings for your highest good. And for each year to be the best year of your life so far. Have a beautiful, happy, peaceful day in life. Bye!